Ella Mai Howell, or simply Ella Mai, born November 3rd, 1994. 6 years ago, Ella Mai released two of the biggest songs of her career, that being Boo'd Up and Trip, and both went multiple times platinum. Boo'd Up, a top 5 song in the country, all genres, amassing over 500 plays on YouTube alone, becoming a household song and winning the singer her first Grammy Award for Best R&B Song, along with nominated for Song of the Year. Trip would do well also, creating its own voice, but received some backlash after being covered by R&B singer Jaquees, which fans loved until it was forcefully taken down by her label to fans' disproval, seeing as that's a great part of how she found solo success. She's released 2 albums thus far, her first in 2018, that included her 2 hit songs and went double platinum. The next came 4 years later that didn't produce any standout records and didn't live up to the hype of her debut album that set such a high standard for her to be rated. It's been 2 years since that album, with fans again in dire want for her to release a new project. They say artists are never as hot as their first breakout moment in music, and Ella Mai is a good example. There's no doubt she's a talented and accomplished singer, owner of arguably the biggest award achievement you can get as a musician, winning a Grammy in 2019, and she can say she went not 1 but 2 times platinum on her debut album, which not many new artists can say they've done the same. But to whom much is given, much is required, and many fans don't think Ella Mai has given enough as far as the music they can champion and help push her career to the forefront. She's at this point known to play the background when it comes to being a celebrity who's also an artist, also in hip-hop and R&B culture that can expect a lot from their artists, especially in the times we live in today, into what can I enjoy right now instead of what's good for me and what will have the better substance going forward. It's a thin line celebrity artists have to tiptoe, understanding that yes, everyone needs a break and time to step back, and artists more than others. It takes time for some to find that pocket of creating where it serves all purposes, making the fans happy but also feeling good to you the artist, where you didn't compromise yourself mentally or forced into releasing art when for you it's not right. Ella Mai was the name 6 years ago in female R&B, with fans loving her chill, laid-back approach to love and her soothing voice that feels like a vibe more than anything. But for these reasons, she's losing that connection as time ticks by, and it's stunning her growth as an artist. What happened? Let's talk about it. Salute to I am Chris Smith on IG for this request. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth Music. Let's get it. Ella Mai is a singer and songwriter from London, England that moved to Queens, New York when she was just 12 years old with her mother. She spent the next 5 years there, graduating at 17 and moving back to London. During her childhood, she loved singing and covering songs, something she'd continue doing, attending the Performance Arts University BIMM in London. She auditioned in 2014 for the show X Factor in a trio group called Arise that didn't make it past that point, and she soon went solo. In 2015, she released her debut solo EP called Troubled on SoundCloud and posted herself singing those songs along with covers to other popular songs to Instagram. Those came across the desk of 10 Summers Records owner DJ Mustard, who in joint with Interscope signed her to her solo deal. Her single Boo'd Up released soon after and would take over a year before it blew up and shot to number 5 on the Billboard charts. Ella Mai was in the game, had a hit song, and the hottest name at the time, expected to become a star in R&B. Stunt number 1, Standing Out. In life, eras are not meant to all be the same, and in music, the era an artist is in can change a lot for them in either a positive or negative ways. One way I think the era hurt Ella Mai is it makes who she is difficult to stand out among her peers. And when I say her peers, I mean all urban female artists. When you're a celebrity, you will always be judged and criticized in one way or another, and it's something you learn to deal with and move on. When you're a celebrity artist whose status depends on the judgments of the public, you're vulnerable to however they feel about you controlling your success. Generally, I believe the public finds it hard to connect in any way outside her delivering music and it being consumed. Back in the day, that may have been enough to satisfy consumers, but nowadays, with social media becoming a leading force in everyday society, fans want more from an artist to connect to. They want to hear your music while scrolling down your timeline on Instagram to see what you look like, your Twitter timeline to see what you talk about, your humor, wittiness, social and political views, everything. Yes, it's entitlement, but it's also the environment, one that changes on its own. Ella Mai in this environment isn't one to give you excitement through controversy or being messy in feuds, and visually, she isn't busting it open all on the gram like Coi Leray, Sexy Red, Lotto, or Ice Spice. For the most part, she's in big clothes, a turtleneck, and plain colors on plain backgrounds. Back in the day when females carried themselves like that, she could be seen for the music itself. But nowadays, the climate when it comes to females in the spotlight doesn't fit who Ella Mai presents herself as, and it cost her to lose points. Ice Spice has the same laid-back personality as Ella Mai, but visually, she leaves little to the imagination. 98% of her fans like her because of her body and how she flaunts it on social media and on stage. Good or bad, or whether you agree with her strategy or not, that's her appeal, her charisma, her charm. What's Ella Mai's outside her tunes? In this era, more than any, having appeals outside just the music makes you a superstar. Again, right or wrong. Ella doesn't have a personality appeal, seductive charisma, or consistency to stand out among what's happening around her, which makes some think she's boring, something she's even admitted to.
Maybe I'm a boring person.
Stunt number 2, long waits. Another issue I think stunning Ella Mai's growth is the lengthy time between her big music releases. Her having one route of appeal, that being her music, that has to be her strong suit when it comes to being the artist her fans can champion. If all you give is the music, then make sure you always have music out there in simpler terms. The 4 years between project in this day in music for a new artist is hard to build a consistent fan base. People naturally look for huge changes in their lives every 3 to 5 years, and that goes for the music they listen to as well. For them to carry your music over with them as they grow older and more experienced in the things you speak about like love and desire, you have to be a constant in shaping the soundtrack to their lives. For any new artist, 2 years in between albums is just not enough. Ella Mai took 4 years between hers. For an established artist like Rihanna or Beyonce, they can do that. But for Ella Mai, it's difficult, especially when for fans, that's all they get from you. Her debut self-titled album came out in 2018 that had 3-4 hit songs on it. The club and radio popular Boo'd Up, The Smooth Trip, Shot Clock, and Whatchamacallit featuring Chris Brown. The album won a Grammy for Best Song and was nominated for Best R&B Album, going double platinum. To wait 4 years to release the next one, while in between doing small features and not much solo releasing, cuts off a large portion of your fan base who actively looks for new music every 3 months, who are also different people altogether after 4 years. Then when you do drop and it's not as hot as the one before, loses even more. Stunt number 3, best in that lane. When it comes to vibe R&B music that isn't necessarily predicated on how well a singer can hit certain notes and traditional singing ability, Ella Mai has yet to become the go-to in that lane. Artists like Summer Walker, SZA, Her, and Jhené Aiko appeal a bit more than the London songstress and are more diligent in their presence mainstream. Something consistency plays a huge role in and lends to stunt number 2. Ella Mai is a nice singer who I'm sure isn't just behind the scenes not doing anything musically or in some way industry related, and she does have a solid fan base still, but as a go-to R&B artist, there's more relevant choices who provide a lot more. Whether that's due to a lack of promotion from her label, finding ways she can be herself and still appeal, or the disconnect fans feel they have with her personality or style, it illuminates when you think of her not yet hitting her potential and meeting the expectations she set back in 2018. Artists in her lane, fans feel, have a little more it factor to them, even outside of music as well, that also gives them the nod in being organically promoted by the algorithm or through fans sharing their music actively online and social media. Something labels also watch and may conclude it doesn't fit their best interest to invest in more promotion. All in all, Ella Mai is still a good artist. Does she do anything great or worthy of standing out? Not always, and for the environment she's in as a celebrity artist in today's society, it's a must. She's not promiscuously promoting herself online, doesn't involve in controversy, and is just her. But for these reasons, her growth is being stunted. Salute, much respect. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.